Hi, I'm Marshall. I'm the owner of Going Gear, and I'm here in our store in Smyrna, Georgia. Today we're going to take a look at the Eagletac M25C2 Turbo. All right, here we are with the packaging of the M25C2 Turbo. Pretty big packaging because it's a pretty big light. The head on is pretty big. The body on it is kind of small. Kind of a funny looking light, but the capabilities of it are really cool. So some information here on the packaging: 1,180 LED lumens, 980 ANSI FL1 lumens. If you're looking to compare it to most other manufacturers, the 980 number is the one you want to go with. Cree XML2 LED, 1.8 hours of runtime on the max output, 150 hours on the low, and 640 meters of beam distance. So pretty crazy beam distance out of this. Good output, nice tight focus beam if you like the focus beam. Let's go and open it up, show what you get on the inside, and as always, you can get the full specs on our site, goinggear.com. There's the light. Comes in a little soft storage bag. We'll pull the accessories out. User manual, warranty information. User manual is definitely worth a read. You know, there's some relatively complicated stuff going on in these flashlights. This one's not just an on-off light, so there's some good information in there about the operation, care of the light, warranty information, some technical specs. Definitely worth taking a look at that. So here you go. Like I said, kind of a funny looking light. You got this massive head on it because you got that massive reflector. I mean, basically this whole thing is a reflector. LED way down here. LED is way down here in this part, and then you got your battery tube and your tail cap. It's kind of a funny looking light, but 640 meters of beam distance. Nothing to scoff at for sure. It actually feels pretty good in the hand. Decent balance. You can hold it up here on the head and still feels nice and comfortable. But let's take a little bit closer look at it just so you can see the different parts of it and everything. Actually, let me talk about the accessories. So the accessories that you have in here, if you want to take the cigar grip ring off, you can take that off, and that's what this rubber piece is right here. You have a lanyard, and then if you want to be able to tail stand, you can actually take this rubber piece right here and pop it on the end. It'll make it where it's able to tail stand. This is your lanyard attachment point. Here's your cigar grip ring. You have a pocket clip. You can remove the pocket clip if you want to do that. What you do is you unscrew this ring right here with the tail cap off, and then you can kind of shimmy it off. It makes it a little bit easier if you take the tail cap off. But there's your accessories. Got a spare O-ring in there as well. And here is the light. Nice carrying bag. Keep it protected if you want to keep it in your pack, or even just keep it in your tool drawer or anything like that. Kind of turn it around. Very similar styling to the other Eagletac lights. Pretty utilitarian, you know, no super flashy fancy machining or anything like that, but they look good. They look nice. You got that Type 3 hard anodizing, really durable, really scratch resistant. I'm actually going to take the head off so we can look down in it a little bit better and actually make it where the camera can focus. So there is the LED in there. So this whole thing is basically a reflector, just a gigantic reflector. Got that Cree XML2 LED down in there. Big old reflector, relatively large LED, but you got this huge reflector, so it gives us some great distance. All right, got that screwed back on there. There's your pocket clip. Again, you can remove that if you want to. So this is powered by an 18650 or two CR123s. As always, I recommend using 18650s because they give you a lot better value in the long run. You can use CR123s, and there's a couple big advantages to CR123s. One is their shelf life. So the shelf life, they have really great shelf life in terms of how long that you can go without using them. So most high-quality CR123s, you got about 10 years where you don't have to use them, and they're still going to function just fine. Lithium-ion batteries, on the other hand, most manufacturers recommend that you charge them every 6 months or so. I've had some where I've gone for years without charging them and they are just fine, but most manufacturers recommend around 6 to 8 months, recharge them. So that's basically lithium-ion versus lithium. Got a light like this, chances are you're going to be using it. You know, this isn't something you're going to throw in your bug out bag or anything like that. This has a very specific purpose. You're going to want to use it on a regular basis if you get something like this. So get your 18650s, a little bit more of an upfront cost, but get the batteries and charger in a bundle from us, and it'll save you a little bit of money. But anyway, we're going to throw an O-Light and 3400 milliamp hour 18650s. I like these. They come in a carrying case. Very handy. Each one comes in a carrying case. So you get one to a carrying case. So you get two batteries, you get two carrying cases. So your other 18650s and CR123s, you got a place to store them. And they're high quality, so they're using the same Panasonic cells that pretty much everybody else is using. Eagletac also makes really nice batteries. I like their batteries a lot. Definitely high quality ones. If you look at any of my previous videos, that's what I recommended before we got the O lights. Let me show you the inside of the tail cap. Screw that tail cap back on. Basically, the only difference now that the pricing is pretty much the same between the Eagletac and the O lights is that carrying case. But I like that carrying case. It's a nice little add-on that they have that other manufacturers generally don't include. There you can see the LED down in there with the reflector, just to give you an idea of the difference in size between that LED and this massive reflector. And you'll see better when we go outside what that does. So same operation as pretty much the entire Eagletac line, or most of the Eagletac line. You've got your rear switch for operation. You turn the head to switch between the different modes. Of course, your big difference that you're going to see with other Eagletac lights are your side switch lights. Those have different operation, but any of the ones where you have the head turning and the rear switch, very similar operation to those. So what we're going to do is lightly press that rear switch, get your momentary, click it all the way for constant on, and that's it. So you can see no mode changing as long as you don't have the tail cap strobe activated. And it's not activated by default from the factory. I'll show you how to turn that on a little bit later. To switch between your different outputs, all you do is turn the head. So you turn this battery tube part right here. It's this part, not the part where you can unscrew the reflector in the head, but it's this part between the battery tube and that LED portion. That's the part you unscrew. And you can see it'll cycle through your different outputs. So you got max output when the head is tightened, and when you loosen it, you go through your other outputs all the way down to a pretty low one. And I know we're going to get this question because we get it on pretty much every video. that donut hole right there in the center, that dark spot, it goes away really quickly. So I have the light maybe about 20 inches away from my hand. You can see how quickly it goes away. It's just something you're going to see right up close. Pretty much LED, any LED flashlight with the reflector is going to do that if you get up really close. But it goes away really quickly. It's not something you're going to see. You'll see when we go outside that it goes away. But anyway, that is the basic operation of the light. You also have some hidden modes. So if you have it in mode 1, which is head tightened, and go to mode 3 and then go back, you can see you have some flashing modes. So you have a couple strobes, you have SOS, you have some beacons, all kinds of different flashing modes that you can cycle through. So if you turn the light off, turn it back on, when you had it in one of those, you can see there's not a memory for those. So it's going to go back into the last regular operation that you had it in. You're going to have to do the loosen and tighten if you want to get back into the flashing mode. All right, let's talk about how to get into the hidden stuff. So the way to get into those is one of the things that you can get into is tail cap strobe. So hitting the tail cap twice really quickly will get you right into strobe. And the way to turn that on is with the head tightened all the way in mode 1, you're going to turn the light on and off 20 times with less than a second in between each press. So let's try that real quick. All right, so now when we double press it, it goes right into strobe. So a lot of people like that. A lot of people, when they first get the Eagletac lights that have that capability, it's one of the first things that they do. You don't have to turn it on if you don't want to, but you can see it's probably not something you're going to turn on by accident unless you're trying to annoy your buddies or something like that. And then you can do the same thing to turn it off. So quickly turn it on and off. You just do that light press for the momentary 20 times, and it can turn it back off. But it's kind of nice if you like strobe, you have that feature where you can get to it with the tail cap without having to do any head turning or anything like that. You also have some other hidden modes. Not really hidden modes, but it's a different mode group. So instead of having the 4 different outputs, it throws some other flashing modes in there with the default modes. Really popular with law enforcement that like to be able to get into strobe quickly or turn the light on and have it directly in strobe. So let me show you how to turn those on. So we're going to turn it to mode 2. So we're just going to slightly loosen it, get it out of that max output, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to turn it on and off 20 times. I'm going to show you how to do that. All right, probably did it a couple extra times. I usually end up doing that. But now, when we have the head tightened, it's going to be that max output. Next output is going to be a lower one, and then you have a couple of flashing modes. So you have a strobe and then a faster strobe. So this is kind of nice. Some law enforcement guys, bouncers, like to be able to get directly into strobe. So you have that head loosened, you can turn the light on, and it'll go directly into strobe. So it replaces a couple of your output modes with those strobe modes. So if you like that, you have that function as well. And then again, to turn it back off, just do the same thing. Just do the, with the head loosened in mode 2, turn it off and on and off 20 times, and you'll get it back to your regular default output where you have the 4, or regular operation where you have the 4 different outputs. So a lot of versatility in this light, a lot of different things that it can do. You know, straight out of the box, you can just leave it as is. Most people end up doing that, but you have some functions in there that are nice options to have. You know, for people that need them, they're definitely nice to have in there. So there you go. That is the operation and everything of the M25C2 Turbo. Before we take it outside, let me show you again real quick the basic overview of the operation. So light press to do momentary, click it all the way for constant on, and then your head turn is going to cycle through your different outputs based on which mode group you're in. And then if you want to get to the other flashing modes, one thing I actually forgot to say is that when you're in the tactical mode group where you have those couple of flashing in the default modes, you can't get into the other strobes. So it's meant to be reliable operation where you always know what you're going to be getting into. So loosening and tightening the head when you're in the tactical mode group is not going to get you into the flashing mode. So keep that in mind. But if you're in the regular mode group, loosening and tightening the head between 1 and 3 and then back to 1 will get you straight into your flashing modes. All right, so there you go. That's the operation and everything. Let's go ahead and take this outside, and we'll show you what kind of distance this thing can do. It's pretty crazy. All right, we got the Eagletac M25C2 Turbo outside. They always have really long names. It'll take a little while to say. Got the 4D mag light. Gonna go ahead and try it first since everybody knows what it can do. There's a little tree about 30 feet away. Dockhouse down there on the lake is about 100 feet away. Same as it is in every video, but I think people will cry foul if I stop doing this, so I'm going to keep on doing it. All right, let's try out the Eagletac. There's your 25 feet, or your 30 feet. There's your 100 feet. Very, very concentrated beam on this. You're going to get tunnel vision for your up-close kind of stuff. There's your O-ring, maybe the anti-reflective. You got a little bit of a blue on the outside of the beam. That's kind of cool, but you can see when you're actually using it, you don't see that blue. We'll zoom in on the dockhouse. Just so you can see how well it's lit up down there. This thing is obviously made for distance. You're not going to want to do any up close reading or anything like that, but man, distance is crazy on this thing. Super concentrated beam, lights up a very tight area, so a lot of people like beams like that, and obviously the distance it can do is just great. Let me show you the different outputs on it. They're all going to make it out there really well. Even the low, that very low output, you know, normally you just use it for up close kind of stuff. You can see it makes it out to 100 feet. You can see everything out there pretty well. Pretty cool light, very focused beam. Distance you can get out of this thing is crazy. Let's actually try out a little bit longer distance. You can see what it does at a little over 100 yards. All right, let's see what the Eagletac with the big old head can do with some more distance. Boat right there is about 15 feet away. Got my long distance target set up out there. First one is 50 yards, second one's 100 yards. Tree line is 130 yards. No problem seeing what's going on out there. Everything's lit up really, really well. Very focused beam. You know, you're not going to light up a really wide area with that hot spot. The spill is nice and generous, so you're going to light up a pretty wide area with that. And you can see how bright the spill is alone. But nice focused beam if you like that, and you get that great distance out of it. I'll show you what the lower outputs look like, just so you can see that even on the lower outputs, the throw is still really impressive. Even on that lowest one, not a whole lot of lumens coming out of there, but I can see the 50 yards really well, and I can see the 100 and 130 yards still pretty well, just shining it around. I don't know how well that's showing up on camera. Looking at the view screen, not all that great, but to my eyes, you can actually see out there pretty well. So kind of shining around a little bit, light up all that lovely pollen. All right, so there you go. That is the Eagletac M25C2 Turbo. If you like it, you can buy it from us at goinggear.com. Any questions or comments, you can reach me in the comments or any of my guys at goinggear.com. If you like the video, please subscribe. I do a lot of gear, flashlight videos. As always, get going and start something. Thanks for watching.